My husband is in love with his student. I have no ing idea what to do. New update. Original post April 18th, 2024. My husband and I, both 35 RN, met in college. We fell in love and got married 8 years back. I gave birth to our daughter in 2020. My husband is a professor at this med school. He's a doctor himself. My friend, Sarah, also works in the same college and she's in the same department as my husband. Few months back, in December, Sarah took me out for lunch and told me that she suspected something's going on between my husband and this med student, 25F. She claimed she'd seen both of them give yearning looks to each other. She said that she's known my husband for so long, and she'd never seen him talk to any other woman like this, that he'd been so aloof around women all these years, but it's just different with this one girl. In that moment, I had laughed at her face. I remember telling her that she's jumping to conclusions based on these supposed yearning looks. That's why I didn't tell you before, she had said. I was confused too. It's not like he goes out of his way to talk to her, but whenever they do talk, it's like watching a slow burn romance movie. She looks at him like he's Brad Pitt, and he looks at her the way he used to look at you. I remember the exact words because they stung. Internally I was breaking down, externally I just smiled and told her that she's probably overthinking. That night, I casually mentioned this my husband. I was laughing at the absurdity, and I expected him to join in and deny the wild possibility that he's in love with a student. But he didn't. Instead, he looked at me, all teary-eyed, and said, "I'm sorry. I can't get her out of my mind. I've tried, trust me. I should have told you sooner, but I thought I could save our relationship. I really wanted to." I asked him if he'd cheated on me. He said no. He said he didn't even talk to her, nor did they have any contact outside of college, and that he completely understood how morally depraved it is to try and pursue a relationship with a student. She wrote him a letter about a year back, confessing her love for him, and he had told her that even though he was into her, nothing would come out of it. Apparently, that was when the yearning looks had started. I honestly don't remember how I reacted then. I think I just started packing and came to live with my parents along with my daughter. I've been living with my parents since then. Half of me wanted him to come and beg for forgiveness. But he never did. He comes by sometimes to spend time with our daughter, but that's it. He never talks about the elephant in the room, nor do I bring it up. I keep checking that girl's social media. She's insanely beautiful, almost doll-like, and intelligent. I can't help but think that someone like him should be with someone like her. He's always been very good-looking, and I'm more of a plain Jane. She's the Meredith to his Derek. I don't know what to do. What do I even tell people? I don't even know who I am without him. Some part of me still wants him to come back. Edit. I've decided to talk to him. I know I've been avoiding this since months, but after reading all the responses, I feel it's time I rip that band-aid out. I'm going over to our house. I'll update on what happens. TLDR husband just admitted that he's in love with this young woman who also his student. She loves him too. Relevant comments. Moss Valley. So he didn't actually cheat? He has a crush? If I'm understanding that right, he hasn't betrayed you yet. Crushes sometimes happen, that doesn't mean the relationship is over. Get therapy with him. OOP. I mean, cheating for me isn't just physical. He's had crushes in the past and I've had crushes in the past, but we'd always been upfront and then laughed about it. This one feels like a betrayal because he was attracted to someone for more than a year. This someone gave him a freaking love letter. He told her that he's attracted to her, and not once did he mention it to me. That's a huge breach of trust for me, and I don't think I can look past it. OOP added more about her friend Sarah and what she observed. I know. He said he entirely stopped interacting with her after the letter incident. It does seem absurd, but even my friend, Sarah, corroborated this. She said he never went out of his way to talk to her before, and then almost entirely stopped talking. Given that Sarah and him are in the same department 24/7, and that she noticed something as small as them giving each other looks, I'm sure she would have noticed anything out of the ordinary. I've had access to his phone and his passwords throughout, and he wasn't texting or calling her either. That's why this feels weird. Update April 20th, 2024, 2 days later. Link to previous post, https://www.reddit.com/r/relationships/s/hw3m65wuvh. For those who don't want to read the boring details, in short, I have decided to go ahead with the divorce. Long story, the day I made the post, I met up with Sarah for dinner. I thanked her for telling me about my husband and the student, and also for being such a good friend. I asked her about my husband. She said there's nothing unusual. He's been a bit withdrawn and aloof with everyone lately, but that's about it. Yesterday, I went over to my house unannounced. He was there alone in his office. I told him I wanted to talk. He said he'll explain everything. So apparently, this woman has had a crush on him since 2 years. Her friends ship her with him. She would stare at him during her rotations and would blush whenever he looked or talked to her. Back then, he didn't think much of it. Many girls have had crushes on him and he always ignored it. About 1.5 years back, they were in the same research group thing. I don't know how this works, but there were 5 to 6 people along with these two. Because of this, they had to spend some time together working, and it was then that he started noticing her. He went into detail about how he was impressed with her intelligence blah 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 and her beauty blah blah blah. The moment he realized that he had a crush on her, he dropped out of the research thing. This was a year ago. Few weeks later, she gave him the letter confessing that she has feelings for him. The first thing he told her after reading it was you can get into trouble because of this. She didn't care. She wanted an answer. Is it all in my head? She had asked, to which he replied with, it's not just in your head, but nothing can come out of it. I hope you understand. That was the last time they interacted. According to him, the yearning looks Sarah described were more of awkward eye contacts than anything else. He told me that even though he is still attracted to her, he has no intention of pursuing any sort of relationship with her regardless whether we stay together or not. He said he's willing to change his job and go to therapy. I told him to give me some time to think about it. To sum up, this has been going on since 3 years. Not once did he mention anything to me. 2. The student and him spent a considerable amount of time last year working on the research. 3. He told her he liked her back. 4. He's still very much attracted to her. And that's why I've decided to go ahead with a divorce. I don't think I can trust this man again. And a relationship without trust isn't something I am interested in. I've told my parents about it. They're not exactly on board, but they're still supportive. I've also contacted my lawyer about the same. It's gonna be a long process, I believe. That's it. I believe this is my last update. TLDR, he's still attracted to her. I won't ever trust him again. We're getting a divorce. Relevant comments. Chance reason 6617. It's a crush. He is not in love. OOP. That doesn't matter. He crossed a line he shouldn't have by telling her he likes her. _ thesis noton exit. Literally, I can't believe these comments. He's gushing about her beauty and intelligence. He told her the feeling was mutual. He could have easily denied it to her and then kept his distance, but he liked the attention. OOP. I mean, to be fair to him, he wasn't exactly gushing about her. I kept asking and he kept answering. Deal breaker for me was him telling her the feeling is mutual. All but luck. These dumbass comments, you too hasty, it's a crowish chill. Like STFU, the man literally said, I can't get her out of my head. If he was committed to his wife, he would have changed job proactively, not wait until now. He let it develop to a point he can't take his mind off of her, and y'all saying it's no big deal. You guys obviously never had a real relationship. OOP. He said he didn't change his job earlier because, quote, I'm a doctor and there are people counting on me. I couldn't just walk out on them one day. Right now too, he said he's willing to change his job if that's what it takes to make you stay. I can't get over my ex-husband being in love with his student. It's eating me up inside. July 21st, 2024, 3 months later. For context, my ex-husband is a doctor and he was in love with his student for years. She was into him too and wrote him a love letter, etc. When I confronted him, he told me it was a crush and that he put a stop to it as soon as he could, and that nothing physical ever happened, but the damage was done. You can read the posts on my account if you're interested, but that's the gist. Nothing more there. So I decided to take our daughter and permanently move to my parents' house. We're in the middle of separating now. A lot of people have told me to forgive him, and I've myself debated if I'm taking the correct step or not, but the trust is gone and I don't think I want to be in a relationship with someone like him. It's taking a lot of strength to do this. I have lost all self-esteem. Fact is that I was always insecure of how my ex was way above my league, about how I was lucky to have him, how people often said he could have done so much better. Over the years, my insecurities had disappeared. Now it's all back. He's attracted to someone so beautiful, so incredibly intelligent, and obviously she's also into him. I keep looking at her social media all the time, obsessing over her. There was an Instagram story she uploaded where she was with my ex-husband and few others, and it felt like someone stabbed me in the heart. He looked happy, and he'd never looked that happy in years. I got tired of being pathetic and even complained to the hospital management about the inappropriate relationship between her and my ex. All I got in response was that they can't take any steps without concrete proof. Now my sad ass wants to snitch about her to her parents. To get her in trouble. To make her suffer. I know this is unhealthy. I'm in therapy, but I don't think I'm healing. I hate that I have to be sad and heartbroken over that man and he doesn't seem to care. He's stopped coming to visit our daughter too. I wish he would have cared. I wish he would have fought for me. I wish he would have not tossed aside our decade-long relationship for her. I hate this. I hate everything. Relevant comments. Mayor Charles Coulon. If you wanted to go full petty, you could out them to her training program. Medical schools and teaching institutions frown on faculty/learner romantic relationships and consider it an abuse of power. Your husband likely had to formally evaluate her and him, their affair, even emotional, would tip the fairness of those evals compared to the other students. I have seen married doctors fired for this kind of behavior. Also, tell her parents. She sure as shit didn't mind hurting you or your daughter. Don't roll over because of a misplaced sense of loyalty to your D-bag ex. OOP. I did reach out to her training program. They basically told me that they can only take steps if I have any tangible proof, which I don't. I asked my friend Sarah, who works in the same department as him, to also complain, but she's not keen on the idea. Why? Final comment from OOP. I feel like I've already wasted so many years on him. We met when we were 20. I thought I knew him so well, but now it's like I didn't know him at all. I don't understand what's changed, TBH. He's a very good-looking guy. All throughout our relationship, there have been many girls who had crushes on him. He used to be so chill about all of it. Never made me feel insecure. Never lost his mind like this. What's happened honestly? Does the ex FaceTime or contact the daughter? It's a 1-hour flight. He does FaceTime with her daily, but he won't do it if I'm in the room, so he does it when my mom/dad is looking after her. He's not reached out about alone time. He's only said he's waiting for the court orders regarding the custody. He doesn't want to see me at all. We had a big fight after I reported him and that girl to her college, and he said it's not correct for our daughter to see us fighting like that again, so he's not gonna visit. New update. I found the love letter my husband's student wrote him. Should I take it to the authorities? August 5, 2024. I posted about 2 weeks back. I had to back to my ex-husband's city as per my lawyer's suggestion. My mom and sister are living temporarily with me and we have rented an apartment. Yesterday I went over to my old house that I shared with my ex to get some of my stuff. I texted him about it and he made sure he wasn't there when I arrived. I collected all my stuff. Then I decided to look through his study. Yes, I know it's snooping and it's wrong, but whatever. I don't know what I expected to find there, but, lo and behold, I found the letter the student wrote to him. It was callously thrown in between some of his work files. I took a picture of the letter and came back. I did read the letter, and it was nauseating to say the least. She'd written how she knew it was wrong, and that he was married blah blah, but she felt she had a connection with him and that she'd never forgive herself if she didn't tell him how she feels. That's the gist, but it basically goes on for 2 pages. That stupid girl even made sure to sign the letter. The letter confirms few things. My ex did not lie about there being no physical affair, cause in the letter she was lamenting about the fact that she would love to jump his bones, but the opportunity never presented. He did stop interacting with her abruptly cause she was sad about that too. He did lie to me about the letter. When I asked him all those months back, he told me I got rid of the letter cause it was of no consequence. He kept it in his study. A place where he only keeps the most important of his stuff. A place where even family pictures weren't allowed cause they can't let him concentrate. A place where even I wasn't allowed when he was working. Now that I have the letter, I have proof of the inappropriate conduct between a professor and a student. Last time I tried reporting, the authorities wanted proof. Now I have it, so I'm considering re-reporting the issue, with solid proof this time. I'm not gonna involve my friend Sarah in this cause she's made it clear that she doesn't want to be a part of this at all. One part of me wants to report them and fuck them over, but the other part just wants to let it go. Any advice on how to proceed? Edit. I'm not gonna report them. It's fine. Relevant comments. Ready_Wolverine_7603. His action seems to be that he stopped interacting with her, and I fail to see how that's illegal in any way, shape, or form. You're acting petty and needlessly cruel, and snooping through his study when he wasn't there was a break of his trust. Try to get the therapy you need to move on and leave it at that. Of course, it's not entirely impossible that he knows your character and has set up a camera in his study because he assumed that you would rifle through confidential documents given the chance, but in that case I'm sure you'll hear from his lawyer and then you can still present the letter you found. Whatever good you think it will do you. OOP. I have never, in the 15 years of knowing him, have gone through his personal stuff. To comment on my character is uncalled for. B. His trust. He fell in love with another woman and failed to mention it for 3 freaking years. He told her he was into her, because he owed her honesty for whatever reason according to him, but failed to mention this to his own wife. I'm sorry, but I don't give a flying fuck about his trust now. More_wait. If anything, this letter exonerates your ex. He didn't act on it. OOP. And the girl? I wish I could show you the letter. The disrespect of going after a married guy. The audacity of writing things like she wishes our child was never born so he could leave me easily and wouldn't have to be tied to me throughout life. That alone should have warranted more of a response from him. The fact that after reading all that BS about our marriage and our kid, all he told her was you can get into trouble for this is crazy. What was in the letter? She wrote things like how she wished our child was never born to begin with, so that he could have an easy separation and wouldn't have to be tied to me forever. I wish I could show you the letter. I'm not even typing half of it here. It was nauseating. Red-haired 103. Her shitty behavior is on her. Your behavior is yours. If your ex can develop a crush on a barely adult like this, he's not emotionally mature either. Think of it this way, you're going to be free from someone who does not love you and probably going through a midlife crisis. All the possibilities are in your future if you just close this chapter. Your focus needs to be on yourself, on your own healing and your own life. OOP. Yeah, I understand that. I've decided to let it go.